Thank you very much, Ruth. Our next speaker is Jock Whittle. He's the Managing Director and CEO of the Paraway Pastoral Company, and will be speaking about corporate investment in agriculture. Please make him welcome. It'll change.
Okay, thank you. So I'd just like to start by making a statement that I'm very confident about the future of farms of tomorrow. I think there's a very bright future. I think sometimes the Outlook Conference tends to focus on some of the negative or challenging parts of farming, and I think that the agricultural sector in Australia has got a tremendously bright future, and you only had to attend some of the morning sessions to understand why. And I think corporate agriculture's role in that is an important role, and there's probably some incremental change in how corporate agriculture plays its part in the farms of tomorrow. But I think most people would agree that the family farm unit, which represents, I think, low 90% of all the farm businesses in Australia, is here to stay, and I have a very strong confidence in its ability to be a very effective business vehicle to manage the volatility in Australian agriculture going forward. So very confident in the future of the Australian family farm sector. It will continue to change. People will come and people will leave, but I think it will be the mainstay of Australian agriculture for a long time to come. Corporate agriculture will also be there, but I think as we've seen in recent years, there was a bit of a theme emerging that corporate agriculture was going to come in and take over the sector. I just think that's sort of a funny, fear-based observation. It's just not going to happen. And if you think about it, what's happened in recent years, there's probably been as many corporate agricultural vehicles leaving the sector as there has been arriving. So I think, and that's consistent through Australians' agricultural history, where various corporate vehicles get set up. Some of them, as represented in this room, have been here for well over a century. Others last a short period of time, and for whatever reason, the owners of that capital decide to leave the industry, and someone else has a go. So I think the market share of those two ownership structures is reasonably constant and is only moving at the margin. And I've been involved in a lot of corporate versus family farm ownership debates over my time in this role. And I think that most of the time there's a lot of sort of emotional arguments around that, but if we're trying to get to $100 billion, what we really need is more farms performing at a high level. And regardless of their ownership structure, whether they're corporately owned or owned by family capital or any other source of capital, that ultimately they're either operating at their optimal performance or they're not. And the gap between the percentage of farms that are operating at their optimal performance, that to me is a big source of unlocking the gap between 65 billion and 100 billion. So I often like to take the conversation in a direction of are you a high performing farm, and what makes the farm perform at a higher or optimal level regardless of who owns the capital, because that doesn't really have a massive bearing on that performance level. It's to do with the people and the systems on the ground and the culture around that organisation, whether that be family or corporate owned. So they're just some introductory statements. Am I going forward or back? So Paraway Pastoral Company was started in 2007. We operate about 28 farms from the Gulf of Carpentaria all the way down to Moyston in southwest Victoria. We run it in 4 regions, and we predominantly run Brahman and Brahman cross cattle in Northern Australia, Angus and Angus Wagyu cross cattle in these central regions, along with merino sheep and some dryland and irrigated cropping, and then we run a predominantly merino-based flock in our southern business, as well as do some irrigated cropping and dryland farming. So we're pretty diverse. we run a few cattle, we run a few sheep, and we do a bit of dry land and irrigated cropping. That's roughly what we do. So I'm looking forward to the discussion. Thank you.